So, hello, this is a video on the FE exam, specifically for electrical and computer engineer. It's coming from a recent student who just took the exam and passed. These are some of my recommendations for you if you are planning on taking it. I took it in the spring of 25, so I hope my experience helps you, and I hope you take this into consideration. So, the FE exam, in terms of timing slots, the exam consists of 110 questions. You will have two sections of 55 questions each. So for the whole exam, you have 320 minutes. So that gives you roughly 3 minutes per question. As you can see, you don't have a lot of time per question. At the end, I will tell you other tips on how to prepare for this. So I told you about two sections of 55 questions each. In between these two sections, there will be a 25-minute break. At the NCAA's website, it says that it's optional, but in reality, I would highly recommend you taking it. Don't leave this as an option. When you are at the testing location, you will have access to a locker. In the locker, you can go and leave a drink and some snacks if you want to. You cannot take those inside the testing center. And also, you can use the 25-minute break to go to the restroom. If you go to the restroom on this 25-minute break, it will not count towards your clock when you're answering questions. What I mean is, if, for example, if you're already on the clock answering one of the two sections of questions, and you decide to go to the restroom, the clock will not stop. It will keep running. Additionally, you also get 8 minutes, a brief tutorial on how to use the computer. This is a computerized exam, how to use a computer, how you can use, how to navigate. But this is not part of those minutes for your question. So you have 8 minutes. It will tell you that you have 8 minutes to read the instructions, to play around with some mock questions, and then you will start your sections. In terms of price and appointment info, appointment price is approximately $257. I did my appointment over the Pearson VUE website. It's for my NCAA's. So once you create an account, you can select the state that you want to take your exam in, and then once you create an appointment, you will be charged approximately that amount. So I was also charged $30 for the practice exam for $30. The interactive exam is $50. I didn't buy this one myself, but I know it's $50, and my study materials were $120. For sure, you will need to pay the appointment price. The practice exam PDF and the interactive exam is more optional on your material. The practice exam will be an exam like this. It will be 100 questions, and it will tell you, it will be the same flavor of questions. So I took the exam. I don't remember having the same exact questions. However, the flavor of them, like the topics were the same, kind of like the things they were looking for were kind of the same. So don't memorize the practice exam, but it will be very helpful for you to study. The interactive exam, I believe, is like they give you access to a 50-question exam that will be exactly like what you will see at the testing center, like with the what you will see in that computer screen to prepare. It's up to you if you want to do this. I didn't do it, and I think I just was able to navigate just fine. The studying material, I'm gonna talk to you about some books. This is by no means they are not promoting my channel or anything. This is just like the material that I use. You can use whatever material you so desire. In my opinion, like, I don't have a lot of money to go spend on other classes, but I have heard very highly of other like classes to study. But I'm just gonna go and talk about the books that I use. And just to be clear, I'm not getting any money out of it. However, when you schedule, make sure to schedule with a little bit of time. Don't schedule like some days before. I schedule my appointment like 3 or 4 weeks before. There are no appointments like daily. but there's usually like appointments like every 2 days, I would say. So for example, in a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, for example. Not every day, but at least like 3 days out of the week, and on the weekends as well. I took mine on a Monday, but there was also appointments like for Saturdays and stuff. Um, so you want to check your own schedule and see the day that works for you. I'm gonna talk about the books that I use. So first book, there are two different books. They kind of look similar, but they are not the same book. The first book is the API reference manual. This manual is from 2015. It's only the book. In eBay cost me approximately like $70. This manual has mostly the review material, so they open up with they divide the the, the book by topics. So, for example, if you go to the NCSS and you go to the FE exam, and then you go to the specifications for the electrical and computer engineering, you will get this PDF. So I have heard a lot of people say that study this, study that. I'm gonna tell you that the 110 questions is divided by the number of questions for each topic. There are 17 topics, so for example, I have heard people saying that they got like 20 questions on the controls part. I doubt that was true. In my experience, I remember like looking at like a few questions for each of these main topics. So the book will cover most of the topics. Not all of them. Is a little bit outdated, but if you guys want to, you can leave a comment and I can go more into detail into all of the topics that are covered by this specific book. But this book is only the review manual. It will guide you on how to use the handbook, and it will just review the theory and give you like mock questions. So they divide this by chapter. It's very thorough, but not all of the book is not all of the content of the book is on the exam anymore. But most of it, for the most part, it does appear. The second book is the practice problems. For every chapter, which include like one of the topics, like for example complex numbers, once you do the chapter, you can do additional questions. So this book only has like additional questions per chapter. It's very useful. It's very affordable in my opinion, but it's up to you. Like this manual gives you the formulas and the review and some questions. These practice problems, only more questions per chapter. The testing center, I have a lot of I have had a lot of people ask me about this. So at the testing station, you will receive a laminated booklet. It will look something like this, and you will receive a fine tip Sharpie. So they will tell you not erase when you're writing a question. So you're writing a question and you make a mistake, they will tell you to just like move to another section without erasing it because it's a Sharpie marker. So I would recommend you just using more space. So if you make a mistake, just move and rewrite everything again. So they will also provide you at least 2 booklets and 3 Sharpies to start, but you can always ask for more. So in my personal experience, I remember I used like 3 booklets to write all of my equations and stuff, and I used 3 Sharpies. They sell this in the internet. You can buy the booklet and the Sharpie just to get comfortable with. I didn't do it, but if you want to do it, I think it's completely optional. It's not the end of the world, but it's something that I think is good to point out. Yourself, once you're at the testing center, so a little bit of my experience, I had to take the exam at another city because they didn't offer it at the city that I live in. So I came in like 40 minutes before my appointment, and they told me that I was already late. So if you want to, I would highly recommend getting like an hour before. They once you're at the office, they will look at your ID. They will make sure that you understand all the protocol. They will give you a key to your locker and stuff. So just be there in time. At the exam, again, you can bring to the office water and snacks, but you must deposit them into the locker room. You cannot take the snacks and the water inside your testing location. So the office is where the secretary will be and look at your info, and then on another room you will have the proctor and you'll have the testing stations with the computers. So another thing is like I recommend not taking a hoodie. I got like a hoodie shirt, so I had to tuck in the actual hood of the shirt. It was a little bit uncomfortable. Also jewelry. Like in my experience, I have some religious jewelry. They were making a fuss about it. According to NCAA, they shouldn't be telling you shouldn't have a problem. But it's something that I wanted to point out. I don't know about other people's experiences. It was a little bit disappointing for me because I didn't want to cheat. I just like jewelry that I always wear. But regardless, if it's religious, I think it's up to you. But on that testing station, the people who worked there actually like made a fuss about it, so I eventually had to leave it on the locker room as well. I have heard a lot of people mention about the hearing buds. I would say not to worry about it. They have like hearing buds at the station, so canceling noise. You will not be able to play music or stuff, but you can actually just like leave the sound out. In my experience, I went in and there's just cubicles with computers, and there were people like taking other tests other than the FE. But I would say that it's not the end of the world. In my opinion, they didn't bother me that much. So some study recommendation is to study the material very thoroughly before taking the practice exam. I would say the practice exam has to be your last step before taking the actual exam. I see a lot of people take the practice exam beforehand. I would not recommend it. So the first thing is get very familiar with the topics. So many of them are covered by school, so I didn't feel so bad about them. But at the same time, I also there's also some stuff that I had to learn from scratch. I will go over this PDF in a separate video after this because I'm running out of time. But I would highly recommend you to study all of the topics that come here via YouTube or via books or via your own material before taking the practice exam. So the exam, I think, compares a lot to the SAT and the ACT. It's not about like having knowing all of the topics, but rather being used to the different set of questions. So once you're comfortable with the practice, you will start seeing the pattern of the questions that they ask you. But in general, just like focus on understanding the material, and then you will do good once you take the practice exam. So I think I will stop here and I will make a second part on this video because I think I can go on this in more detail with the handbook and on the topic, so stay put. But at least I think we covered the timing slots, the price and appointment, books and materials, and you at the testing center. So next video is gonna be on study recommendations because I wanted to devote more time into it and I don't want this video to be so long. I will go on the next video on the handbook, on the practice exam, and specifically on the exam specifications and my general advice. So stay put. This was the first part, so I hope this helps. If you guys have any questions or anything, you can always leave a comment. If you want me to do a more thorough review of these books, I will how they compare to the topics, I can do that as well. Just I hope this helps because honestly there's not a lot of materials for double E's, especially for the FE. So thank you and have a nice day.